Hello, beautiful soul. Come, sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to arrive fully in this space we're sharing together. I see you there, perhaps feeling the weight of financial worry on your shoulders, maybe wondering if there's truly a way out of the money struggles that seem to follow you everywhere you go. I want you to know that you are not alone in this journey, and more importantly, you are not broken or wrong for wanting more abundance in your life. You know, throughout my years of helping people transform their lives, I've noticed something beautiful yet heartbreaking. So many wonderful, deserving people walk through life believing they're somehow not worthy of financial abundance. They whisper to themselves in quiet moments, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "I'll never have enough," or "Rich people are greedy." These words, spoken so casually, become the very chains that bind them to a life of lack and limitation. But here's what I've learned and what I want to share with you today. Money is simply energy. It's a form of love moving through the world, allowing us to care for ourselves and others, to create beauty, to support causes we believe in, and to live with dignity and grace. When we fight against money, when we fear it or resent it, we're actually pushing away one of the most natural forms of abundance that wants to flow into our lives. I understand if you're feeling skeptical right now. Perhaps you've tried affirmations before, or visualization, or positive thinking, and nothing seemed to change. Maybe your bank account still shows the same numbers, your bills still pile up, and that dream vacation or comfortable retirement feels as distant as ever. I hear you, and I want you to know that your feelings are completely valid. But what if I told you that the very technique I'm about to share with you has roots that go back thousands of years and involves a sacred number sequence that creates profound shifts in consciousness when used correctly? The number 777 has appeared throughout history as a symbol of divine perfection and spiritual completion. When we align ourselves with this frequency, when we speak words of abundance 3 times in a row, we're not just hoping for change, we're actually rewiring our entire nervous system to expect and receive prosperity. This isn't wishful thinking or magical nonsense. This is about understanding how your beautiful mind works and how the words you speak create vibrations that literally reshape your reality. You see, every thought you think sends a signal out into the universe. Every word you speak carries energy that either attracts or repels what you desire. For too long, you may have been unconsciously speaking words of lack, limitation, and fear around money. But today, we're going to change that pattern forever. We're going to give you a simple, powerful tool that takes just moments to use, yet has the potential to shift everything. Now, before we get to this powerful technique, I want us to take a gentle journey together into understanding why money has felt so challenging for you. Because here's the truth, it's likely not really about money at all. It's about the stories you learned to tell yourself about money. Stories that were handed down to you by people who loved you, but who carried their own fears and limitations about abundance. Think back to your earliest memories around money. What did you hear growing up? Perhaps it was, "Money doesn't buy happiness," or "We can't afford that," or "Money is the root of all evil." Maybe you watched your parents argue about finances, saw stress lines appear on their faces when bills arrived, or noticed how money conversations always seemed to carry a heavy, worried energy. These experiences, though they came from people who cared about you, planted seeds in your young mind that have been growing into limiting beliefs ever since. Here's something beautiful to understand. You were born worthy of abundance. You didn't come into this world carrying shame about deserving good things. Somewhere along the way, you learned that wanting money made you selfish, or that having too much would somehow take away from others, or that you had to struggle and sacrifice to be considered a good person. These beliefs feel so real because you've been thinking them for so long, but they're not truth. They're simply thoughts you've practiced until they became familiar. One of the most common patterns I see is what I call the money unworthiness loop. It starts with a thought like, I don't deserve to be wealthy. This thought creates feelings of shame, guilt, or fear around money. These feelings then drive behaviors like avoiding financial planning, undercharging for services, or sabotaging opportunities when they arise. These behaviors create results that seem to prove the original thought true, and the cycle continues. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your financial story isn't just something that happened to you. It's something that's happening through you right now, with every thought you think and every word you speak. The beautiful news is that because you're the one creating this story, you're also the one who can change it. You have the power to write a completely new chapter, starting today, starting right now, with the words you choose to speak. Many people carry what I call inherited poverty consciousness. This is when limiting beliefs about money get passed down through families like genetic traits. Your grandmother might have lived through the Great Depression and developed a deep fear of not having enough. Your parents might have grown up hearing constant worry about making ends meet. Without even realizing it, you absorbed these fears and made them your own, even though your circumstances are completely different. Sometimes the money story goes the other way too. Perhaps you grew up in a family that had money but carried guilt about it, or shame about being better off than others. Maybe you learned that having money meant you had to downplay your abundance or feel guilty about your good fortune. This can create just as much resistance to receiving abundance as growing up with scarcity messages. The fascinating thing about our money stories is how they show up in our bodies. Have you ever noticed how your stomach tightens when you think about your bank balance? How your shoulders rise toward your ears when bills arrive in the mail? How your breathing becomes shallow when you're worried about finances? Your body is constantly responding to your thoughts about money, and these physical responses actually reinforce the very patterns you want to change. When you're in a state of financial stress, your body produces stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are meant to help you respond to immediate physical danger, but they also shut down the creative, intuitive parts of your brain that could help you find solutions to your money challenges. Essentially, financial worry creates a biological state that makes it harder to attract the very abundance you're seeking. This is why so many people find themselves stuck in cycles of financial struggle. The worry about money creates stress in the body, which clouds clear thinking, which leads to poor decisions or missed opportunities, which creates more financial stress. It's like being caught in quicksand. The more you struggle against it with force and fear, the deeper you sink. But here's the beautiful truth that changes everything. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. When you worry about money that you don't currently have, your body responds as if you're already in financial danger. But when you speak words of abundance and prosperity, when you train your nervous system to expect good things, your body begins to relax into a state where creativity, intuition, and opportunity can flow freely. The mind-body connection around money is so powerful because every cell in your body is listening to the story you tell about your financial reality. When you consistently speak words of lack and limitation, you're literally programming your cells to expect and create more lack and limitation. But when you consciously choose to speak words of abundance and gratitude, you begin to reprogram your entire being to magnetize prosperity. This is where the ancient wisdom of repetition becomes so important. In many spiritual traditions, sacred words or phrases are repeated 3 times because this creates a powerful shift in consciousness. 3 represents completion, manifestation, and the bridge between thinking and being. When you speak words of abundance 3 times, you're not just thinking about prosperity, you're actually becoming a vibrational match for it. Your thoughts create your feelings influence your actions, and your actions create your results. But it all begins with the words you speak, especially the words you speak to yourself about what's possible for your life. Every time you say, "I can't afford it," you're literally affirming your current limitation and asking your subconscious mind to find evidence to support that belief. Every time you say, "Money is hard to come by," you're instructing your beautiful, powerful mind to make money hard to come by. But what if, instead of speaking words that reinforce your current financial reality, you began speaking words that create your desired financial reality? What if every time you caught yourself thinking a thought of lack, you gently redirected that energy toward abundance? What if you could actually feel your nervous system relaxing and opening to receive prosperity, simply through the conscious use of specific words spoken with intention and love? This is exactly what we're going to explore together. Because you see, the universe is always listening to the story you tell about your life, and it's always working to bring you experiences that match the energy of that story. When you shift the story, you shift the reality. When you change the words, you change the world. And when you speak the sacred phrase I'm about to share with you, spoken 3 times with an open heart and clear intention, you begin to activate forces in your life that will amaze and delight you. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it works with your natural biology rather than against it. Instead of trying to force abundance through struggle and strain, you're creating the internal conditions that allow abundance to flow naturally and easily into your life. Now let me share with you something truly special about the number 777 and why it holds such transformative power when it comes to attracting abundance into your life. Throughout history, mystics, spiritual teachers, and those who understand the deeper workings of the universe have recognized that certain number sequences carry specific vibrations that can shift our consciousness and align us with our highest good. The number 7 itself has been considered sacred across virtually every spiritual tradition. It represents spiritual awakening, divine wisdom, and the connection between the earthly and the divine. When we see 777, we're looking at this sacred energy amplified threefold. It's like a cosmic invitation from the universe saying, "You are ready to receive the abundance that has always been your birthright." In numerology, 777 is known as the number of spiritual perfection and divine guidance. It appears in people's lives when they're on the verge of a major breakthrough, when their consciousness is expanding to embrace new possibilities. When you align yourself with the frequency of 777, you're essentially tuning your inner radio to the station that broadcasts abundance, prosperity, and infinite possibility. But here's what makes this even more powerful. The human brain learns through repetition. Every time you repeat a thought, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with that thought. This is why negative thinking patterns can feel so automatic. You've simply practiced them more than positive ones. When you consciously repeat words of abundance 3 times, you're not just hoping for change. You're literally rewiring your brain to expect prosperity. The beautiful thing about the 777 principle is that it works with your natural rhythms rather than against them. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always recording, always working to create experiences that match your dominant thoughts and beliefs. When you speak words of abundance with the power of 777, you're giving your subconscious clear, consistent instructions to seek out and create opportunities for financial flow. Scientists have discovered that when we repeat positive statements, our brains actually begin to form new neural pathways. These pathways become stronger each time we repeat the statements, until eventually, the new thoughts become as automatic as the old limiting ones used to be. This is why consistent practice with the 777 technique creates such profound and lasting change. You're literally restructuring your brain for abundance. The number 777 also connects us to the concept of divine timing. Often, when people try to manifest money, they get frustrated because results don't appear on their preferred timeline. But when you work with the energy of 777, you're surrendering to a higher wisdom that knows exactly when and how abundance will flow into your life in the most perfect way. This surrender doesn't mean being passive. It means being actively aligned with the forces that can create miracles in your financial life. Think of the 777 principle as a key that unlocks a door you didn't even know existed. Behind that door is a reality where money flows to you easily and naturally, where opportunities appear at just the right moment, where your talents and gifts are recognized and compensated abundantly. This door has always been there, waiting for you to discover the right key. Today, you're receiving that key. What's particularly beautiful about this principle is how it honors both the practical and the mystical aspects of abundance. You're not just wishing for money to fall from the sky. You're aligning your consciousness with the universal laws that govern all abundance, while also preparing yourself to recognize and act upon the opportunities that this alignment will bring into your life. Now, the sacred words I'm about to share with you have been tested by thousands of people around the world. People just like you who were struggling with money, people who felt stuck in cycles of lack and limitation. These aren't just any words. They're specifically chosen to bypass the resistance of your logical mind and speak directly to the part of you that creates your reality. The three words you're going to say are, money flows freely. But before you dismiss this as too simple, let me explain why these particular words carry such transformative power. Each word has been carefully chosen for its energetic impact on your consciousness. The word money immediately focuses your attention on the energy of abundance. But notice that we're not saying my money or enough money or money for my bills. We're simply acknowledging money as an energy that exists in the universe, available to all. This removes the desperation and attachment that often blocks the flow of abundance. The word flows is perhaps the most important word in this phrase. Money is meant to flow, not to be grasped or hoarded or worried about. When you think of flow, you think of rivers, of ease, of natural movement. You're programming your subconscious to expect money to move into your life as naturally as water moves downstream. This word alone can shift you out of scarcity consciousness and into abundance consciousness. The word freely releases all the conditions and limitations you've placed on receiving money. It doesn't say money flows freely when I work hard enough, or money flows freely if I'm lucky. It simply states that money's natural state is to flow freely, and you're aligning yourself with that natural state. When you put these three words together, money flows freely, you're making a declaration that transcends your current circumstances. You're not affirming what is, you're declaring what you're now ready to experience. You're stepping into the energy of someone who expects abundance, who knows they're worthy of prosperity, who trusts in the universe's ability to provide. But here's where the real magic happens. You're going to say these words 3 times, and each repetition serves a different purpose. The first time you say money flows freely, you're awakening your consciousness to this new possibility. The second time, you're strengthening the neural pathway that supports this belief. The third time, you're sealing this new programming into your subconscious mind. The beauty of this phrase is that it doesn't trigger the resistance that many affirmations do. Your logical mind can't argue with the statement, money flows freely, because it's true. Money does flow freely in the universe. Billions of dollars exchange hands every single day. The only question is whether you're aligned to receive your share of that flow. Many people make the mistake of trying to affirm specific amounts of money or specific time frames, which often creates resistance because the conscious mind immediately starts calculating how that could be possible. But when you simply affirm that money flows freely, you're opening yourself to abundance in whatever form the universe deems best for your highest good. Now, let me guide you through the exact process for using this powerful technique. The way you speak these words, the energy you bring to them, and the state of consciousness you cultivate while saying them can dramatically impact your results. This isn't about mindlessly repeating words. It's about consciously shifting your entire being into alignment with abundance. First, you want to create a quiet space where you won't be interrupted for a few minutes. This doesn't need to be elaborate. You can do this sitting on your bed, standing in your bathroom, or even sitting in your car. The important thing is that you can focus fully on the process without distractions. Take a few deep breaths and allow your body to relax. Feel your feet connected to the earth. Feel your heart opening. Feel your mind becoming clear and receptive. You're creating space for something new to enter your reality, so give yourself permission to release any tension or worry you might be carrying. Place your hand on your heart and feel the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. This connects you to your body's wisdom and helps anchor the words you're about to speak in both your physical and energetic being. Your heart is the bridge between your thoughts and your reality, so engaging your heart energy amplifies the power of your words exponentially. Now, speak the words "money flows freely" with complete conviction, as if you absolutely know this to be true. Don't worry if you don't feel convinced yet. Your feelings will follow your words as you continue to practice. Speak with the same certainty you would use to say your own name. This is a statement of truth, not a hope or a wish. After you say the phrase the first time, pause for a moment and really feel the vibration of those words in your body. Notice any sensations, any shifts in energy, any images or feelings that arise. You're training yourself to become sensitive to the energy of abundance, to recognize how prosperity feels in your body. Say the phrase a second time, this time with even more feeling and conviction. Allow yourself to really embody the truth of these words. Feel what it would be like to live in a reality where money truly does flow freely to you. Let your imagination support your words by showing you glimpses of this abundant reality. Before you say the phrase for the third and final time, take a moment to send gratitude to the universe for all the abundance that's already flowing toward you, even if you can't see it yet. This gratitude opens your heart even wider and creates an irresistible magnetic field for prosperity. Speak "money flows freely" for the third time with complete trust and surrender. You're not trying to force anything to happen. You're simply aligning yourself with what wants to happen naturally. You're stepping into harmony with the abundant universe that surrounds you. After you've spoken the phrase 3 times, sit quietly for a moment and notice how you feel. Many people report feeling lighter, more hopeful, more open. Some feel a tingling sensation in their body. Others feel a sense of peace or excitement. Whatever you experience is perfect for you. Trust that the process is working, even if the changes feel subtle at first. The key is to practice this technique consistently, ideally at the same time each day, so it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. Many people find that morning is the perfect time because it sets a positive tone for the entire day, but choose whatever time feels right for you. The important thing is consistency rather than perfection. Now, as beautiful as this technique is, I know that some of you might be feeling a little voice of resistance starting to whisper in your mind. Perhaps it's saying things like, "This is too good to be true," or "I've tried things like this before and nothing changed," or I don't deserve to have money flowing freely. Sweet one, this resistance is completely normal, and it's actually a sign that you're ready for transformation. Resistance only shows up when we're moving towards something our soul truly desires. You see, your subconscious mind has been programmed to keep you safe, and to your subconscious, safe often means familiar. If you've been living with financial struggle for a long time, that struggle has become familiar, even comfortable in a strange way. Your subconscious mind might actually resist abundance because it represents unknown territory, and the unknown can feel threatening even when it's wonderful. One of the most common forms of resistance I see is what I call unworthiness programming. This shows up as thoughts like, I don't deserve to be wealthy, or good people shouldn't care about money, or there are others who need it more than I do. These thoughts feel so noble and selfless, but they're actually based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how abundance works. The universe is infinitely abundant. When you receive money, you're not taking it away from someone else any more than your breathing takes oxygen away from others. In fact, when you're financially abundant, you're able to contribute more to the world, to support causes you care about, to help others in ways that simply aren't possible when you're struggling to survive. Abundance allows you to be the fullest expression of your loving, generous nature. Another form of resistance that often comes up is fear of change. Even positive change can feel scary because it requires us to let go of familiar patterns and step into a new version of ourselves. You might find yourself thinking, what if having money changes me? Or what if people treat me differently? These fears are understandable, but they're based on the false belief that money itself has the power to change who you are. Money is simply a tool, and like any tool, it amplifies what's already inside you. If you're a loving, kind person without money, you'll be a loving, kind person with money, just with more resources to express that love and kindness. Sometimes resistance shows up as guilt, especially if you come from a background where money was scarce. You might feel guilty for wanting abundance while others are struggling, or guilty for focusing on money when there are more important things in the world. But here's a truth that might surprise you. Feeling guilty about wanting abundance doesn't help anyone who's struggling. In fact, it keeps you stuck in limitation, which means you have less to offer the world, not more. I want you to give yourself permission to release any guilt you're carrying about wanting financial abundance. You came into this world to experience joy, creativity, and expansion. And money is simply one of the ways the universe supports you in having those experiences. When you allow abundance to flow into your life, you're actually honoring the gifts and talents you've been given by creating space for them to flourish and serve the world. Sometimes resistance appears as skepticism about whether this technique could possibly work. Your logical mind might be saying, how can 3 simple words change my financial situation? This skepticism is natural, especially if you've been disappointed by other approaches in the past. But I invite you to consider that the most powerful forces in the universe are often the simplest ones. Love is simple. Gratitude is simple. Breath is simple. Yet these simple forces create and sustain all of life. The power of the 777 technique doesn't come from complexity. It comes from consistency and alignment. When you consistently align your thoughts, words, and energy with abundance, you begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but that you couldn't see through the fog of worry and limitation. You start to feel more confident about taking inspired action. You become magnetic to people, situations, and circumstances that support your financial growth. If you notice resistance coming up as you practice this technique, don't fight it or judge it. Simply acknowledge it with love and compassion. You might say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling resistant to abundance right now, and that's okay. I'm learning to open my heart to receiving good things. This gentle acknowledgement often allows the resistance to soften naturally. One powerful way to work with resistance is through forgiveness. Forgive yourself for any financial mistakes you feel you've made in the past. Forgive others who may have taught you limiting beliefs about money. Forgive the circumstances that created financial struggle in your life. This forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or pretending that difficult experiences didn't happen. It means releasing the energetic charge around those experiences so they no longer have the power to block your abundance. You can also work with resistance by getting curious about it rather than trying to push it away. Ask yourself, what is this resistance trying to protect me from? Often you'll discover that resistance is based on old fears that are no longer relevant to your current situation. Once you understand what the resistance is trying to do, you can thank it for trying to keep you safe and gently let it know that you're ready to move beyond those old limitations. Remember, releasing resistance is a process, not a one-time event. Be patient and loving with yourself as you work through the layers of conditioning that have kept abundance at arm's length. Each time you choose love over fear, each time you speak words of abundance instead of limitation, each time you trust in your worthiness to receive good things, you're dissolving resistance and opening space for miracles to unfold in your financial life. Now that you understand how to work with resistance, let's talk about how to integrate this powerful practice into your daily life so it becomes as natural and automatic as breathing. The key to lasting transformation is consistency, not intensity. It's better to practice the 777 technique for 2 minutes every day than to do it for an hour once a week. Your subconscious mind responds to gentle, consistent repetition much more effectively than sporadic bursts of effort. I recommend choosing a specific time each day for your abundance practice. Many people find that morning works beautifully because it sets a positive tone for the entire day. When you wake up and immediately align yourself with abundance before checking your phone or thinking about your to-do list, you're programming your nervous system to look for and attract prosperity throughout the day. Others prefer to practice in the evening as a way of releasing any financial stress from the day and programming their subconscious for abundance while they sleep. Your subconscious mind is particularly receptive to new programming during the twilight state between waking and sleeping, so this can be an especially powerful time to work with abundance affirmations. The most important thing is to choose a time that feels sustainable for you and to stick with it consistently. You're creating a new neural pathway in your brain, and like any new path, it becomes clearer and easier to follow the more you use it. After just a few weeks of consistent practice, you'll likely find that abundance thinking begins to feel more natural than scarcity thinking. You can also weave abundance consciousness throughout your day in smaller ways. Every time you pay for something, whether it's a cup of coffee or your monthly rent, you can silently say, "Money flows freely," as you hand over the payment. This transforms every financial transaction from a loss into an affirmation of flow and circulation. You're training your mind to see money as energy that moves in cycles rather than as a limited resource that disappears when you spend it. When you see money, whether it's cash in your wallet, numbers on your bank statement, or even money in movies or advertisements, you can use that as a cue to remember that money flows freely in the universe and you're part of that flow. This helps you develop what I call abundance awareness, where you begin to notice the prosperity that's all around you instead of focusing on what you perceive as lacking. Journaling can be a powerful support for your abundance practice. Each morning, you might write down 3 things you're grateful for related to money or abundance. This could be as simple as being grateful for the roof over your head, the food in your refrigerator, or the ability to purchase something you needed. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to shift from scarcity consciousness to abundance consciousness because it focuses your attention on what's already flowing in your life. You can also use your journal to track synchronicities and signs that abundance is flowing to you. Maybe you find a penny on the sidewalk, receive an unexpected refund, or hear about a new opportunity that excites you. These might seem like small things, but they're actually evidence that your vibration is shifting and you're becoming more aligned with prosperity. Acknowledging and celebrating these signs encourages more of them to appear. Another beautiful practice is to create what I call an abundance altar in your home. This doesn't need to be elaborate. It could simply be a small space where you place items that represent prosperity to you. This might include crystals, coins from around the world, images of things you'd like to experience, or simply written affirmations. Having a physical space dedicated to abundance helps anchor your intention in the material world and gives you a place to focus your energy during your daily practice. As you integrate these practices into your life, you may notice that your relationship with money begins to shift in subtle but profound ways. You might find yourself feeling more relaxed about finances even before your external circumstances change dramatically. You might start to see opportunities you hadn't noticed before. You might feel more confident about asking for a raise or starting that business you've been dreaming about. These internal shifts are signs that the technique is working, even if the external results haven't fully manifested yet. Remember that transformation happens from the inside out. As you consistently practice aligning your thoughts, words, and energy with abundance, your external world will begin to reflect this internal shift. Trust the process, even when you can't see immediate results. Every time you choose abundance, thinking over scarcity thinking, you're moving closer to the financial freedom you desire. Speaking of trust, let's address one of the most challenging aspects of working with abundance: maintaining faith during the time between planting the seeds and seeing the harvest. This is what I call the gap period, and it's where many people give up just before their breakthrough would have occurred. When you first start practicing the 777 technique, you might feel excited and hopeful. But after a few days or weeks, if you don't see dramatic changes in your bank account, doubt might start to creep in. Your logical mind might say, "See, this isn't working. I should have known better." This is the most crucial time to deepen your faith rather than abandon your practice. The universe operates on divine timing, not human timing. Just as a seed doesn't sprout the moment you plant it, your abundant seeds need time to germinate and grow. During this germination period, tremendous activity is happening beneath the surface. Roots are forming, nutrients are being gathered, and the foundation for growth is being established. The same is true with your abundance practice. Even when you can't see external changes, profound shifts are happening in your consciousness and your energetic field. One way to maintain faith during this period is to focus on the process rather than the outcome. Instead of asking, "Where's my money?" ask, "Am I staying aligned with abundance consciousness?" Instead of looking for immediate results, celebrate the fact that you're consistently choosing new thoughts and new words. You're literally rewiring your brain for prosperity, and that's a tremendous accomplishment regardless of what your bank account currently shows. It can also help to remember that abundance comes in many forms, not just money. As you practice the 777 technique, you might notice that you receive unexpected gifts, valuable opportunities, helpful connections, or important insights. These are all forms of abundance flowing to you, and they often precede financial abundance. The universe is responding to your new vibration and sending you proof that you're on the right track. Another way to strengthen your faith is to study stories of others who have successfully transformed their financial lives. Read books, listen to podcasts, or connect with people who have moved from struggle to abundance. These stories remind you that transformation is possible and help you maintain hope during challenging moments. You'll often find that the people who achieve the greatest financial success are those who persisted through periods of doubt and uncertainty. It's also important to distinguish between faith and attachment to specific outcomes. Faith means trusting that the universe is working on your behalf to bring you your highest good. Attachment means insisting that abundance must show up in exactly the way and timeline you've decided. When you're attached to specific outcomes, you might miss the abundance that's trying to reach you in unexpected ways. For example, you might be affirming for a raise at your current job, while the universe is actually preparing to bring you a much better opportunity at a different company. If you're too attached to the raise, you might not recognize or pursue the better opportunity when it appears. This is why it's so important to practice with trust and surrender rather than force and control. During challenging moments, return to the simple practice of saying, "Money flows freely" 3 times. Let these words remind you that abundance is not dependent on your current circumstances or your ability to figure out how it will happen. Abundance flows because it's the nature of the universe to be abundant. Your job is simply to align yourself with that flow through your thoughts, words, and energy. Remember that doubt is normal and doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. Even the most successful people experience moments of uncertainty. The key is not to let doubt become your dominant state of mind. When doubt arises, acknowledge it gently and then return to your practice. You might say to yourself, "I notice I'm feeling doubtful right now, and that's human. I'm choosing to return to trust and continue aligning with abundance." As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to know how honored I am to have shared this journey with you. You've taken a brave and beautiful step by opening your heart and mind to new possibilities around money and abundance. Simply by listening to these words and learning this technique, you've already begun to shift your vibration and attract new experiences into your life. The 777 technique you've learned today is more than just a practice. It's a key that unlocks your natural birthright to abundance. When you speak the words, "Money flows freely" 3 times with intention and love, you're not asking the universe for something you don't deserve. You're remembering who you truly are, a beloved child of an infinitely abundant universe, worthy of all the prosperity and joy life has to offer. I want to encourage you to commit to practicing this technique for the next 21 days. Why 21 days? Because research shows that it takes approximately 21 days to form a new neural pathway in the brain. By the end of those 21 days, abundance thinking will begin to feel as natural as scarcity thinking once did. You'll have literally rewired your brain for prosperity. During these 21 days, be gentle with yourself. There will be days when you forget to practice, days when you feel doubtful, days when old patterns of worry try to reassert themselves. This is all part of the process. What matters is not perfection, but persistence. Each time you return to the practice, each time you choose abundance thoughts over scarcity thoughts, you're strengthening your capacity to receive the good that wants to flow into your life. I also want to remind you that you are not alone on this journey. Thousands of people around the world are practicing these same techniques, raising their vibration and creating more abundance in their lives. You're part of a global community of conscious creators who are choosing to break free from limitation and embrace their highest potential. Draw strength from knowing that others are walking this path with you. As you go forward from today, carry with you the absolute knowing that you are worthy of abundance. You don't need to earn your worthiness through struggle or sacrifice. You don't need to prove that you deserve good things. Your worthiness is built into the very fabric of your being. You are a unique expression of divine love, and divine love lacks nothing. The words "money flows freely" are now part of your spiritual toolkit. Use them daily, use them with love, use them with the complete confidence that they are activating forces in your life that will amaze and delight you. Trust the process, trust the timing, and most importantly, trust yourself. Your abundant life is not something you need to create from scratch. It's something you need to remember and align with. It's been waiting for you all along, just on the other side of the beliefs that told you it wasn't possible. Today, you've been given the key to step through that doorway into a reality where money flows freely, opportunities appear effortlessly, and your deepest dreams of prosperity become your lived experience. Go now with my love, my blessings, and my absolute faith in your ability to create the abundant life you deserve. The universe is conspiring to support you in ways you can't even imagine yet. All you need to do is stay aligned, keep practicing, and remain open to receive the miracles that are already on their way to you. Money flows freely, dear one. Money flows freely to you, through you, and for you, and so it is.